What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to another video. And today is the tips and preview of the NRL Grand Final of 2023. We are here, and two of the best teams in the competition are going to battle out for the Proven Summons Trophy as we get ready. Will the Panthers make it 3 premierships in a row and the first team in the NRL era to do it, and the first team to do it since the Parramatta Eels in 81, 82, 83? Or will the Broncos, after getting the wooden spoon in three years ago, will become the premiers of 2023? And what a performance it will be if they do beat these Penrith Panthers. As we have a look at the lineups before we go through. So, some big ins for the as for the Panthers, they are 1 through 17. Like, all of them are pretty much 1 through 17, really. Dylan Edwards is at fullback. Saliva Taruba and Brian To'o are the wingers. The centres are Isaac Tago and Stephen Crichton, who scored 4 tries in 4 games. 4 tries in a row in a grand final, which is incredible. And the halves, Jerome Luai and Nathan Cleary. And the forward pack is Moses Leota and James Fisher-Harris. The hooker is Mitch Kenny. The back rowers is Scott Sorensen, Liam Martin, and the lock is Isaiah Yeo. The interchange bench is Jack Cogger, Lindsay Smith, Spencer Leniu, and Luke Garner. There's a couple of 3 grand final appearances. So 4 first time in the grand final players in this Penrith team. And as for the Broncos, Reece Walsh is at fullback. Jesse Arthurs and Selwyn Cobbo are the wings. Katoni Staggs and Herbie Farmworth, who might not be playing because he's suffered a hamstring at training, and people are saying he might be eligible to play, but who knows. Halves, Ezra Mam and Adam Reynolds. The forward pack is Thomas Flegler and Payne Haas, and the hooker is Billy Walters. The second rowers are Kurt Capewell and Jordan Rickey, and Patrick Carrigan is the lock. The interchange bench is Tyson Smoothie, Braden Pauga, Kobe Hetherington, and Keon Policia. And here are the reserves. So Corey Oates might be playing. So we'll see, because he's a very experienced player to have in a grand final like this. So Tyrone Peachey, he could be in the side at some stage as well. Now, there's a lot to talk about. Honestly, we don't know who's going to win this game, because they're both the most consistent team. They've been the 2 most consistent teams all year. They've shown that, and they both deserve to be at a core stadium. And the Broncos, there's a bit of history here. The Broncos, this is their 7th grand final, and they've only lost 1. Where the Panthers, they've made 6 grand finals and only lost 2. So the history has favoured both sides. And they're pretty evenly matched, and they're pretty young. They're really, really young, these 2 sides. And compared that to a 2017 Melbourne Storm team that is full of experienced players, these 2 are the 2 inexperienced teams in the competition, and they are first and second on the ladder, and they are in the grand final, battling it out for that Proven Summons Trophy. And plus, I'm going to go the Panthers. And I think this can go to Golden Point. You know why? It's because these 2 teams have been very consistent and very hard. And this could go right down to the wire. And I think the Broncos have got a really good plan for the Panthers. If everything goes well training, if they show up their effort have they been showing all year, they will trouble the Panthers in this grand final. And for the Panthers, if they start well, if both these teams start well, that decides the grand final, because the last 6 grand finals that we've had over the years have been won by the team scoring first. So, for the Panthers, I'm going to go the Panthers to score first. And I'm going to go Isaac Tago to score the first try. At any time, I've got Reece Walsh. I think he can score in this game. You know why? Because if he finds a bit of space between Liam Martin and just steps past Liam Martin, and who's a great defender, he's got the lightest footwork in the game. He's very quick off the mark, and I think he will score at any time. He will score a try. And I'm going to go the Panthers, 20 points to 19. I think there'll be 3 field goals in this game. And this could really, really come down to a field goal and into the second half of Golden Point, because of how these two teams show effort every single week. This could be the best grand final that we've seen in a long, long time. I think this will be one of the best grand finals that we're going to have in the modern era in a long, long time. So I'm going to go the Panthers by 1. Don't get me wrong. I still think the Broncos can win this game, but I just think the Panthers have just gone on another level. They've really played their heart out, and if the Broncos do win this, I think we're going to have a lot of not a lot of broken hearts, but if the Panthers do win this, I think we're going to have a lot of broken hearts, and I think that's what's going to happen to these Broncos. But you got to be proud of their effort if they lose by 1 here. That you got to be proud of their effort if they lose by 1. You'd rather be emotioned that you lost by 2 and start crying than lose by 60 or 50 points and you go, and then you feel frustrated. You'd rather be emotion. You'd rather be crying. And this is the problem with the grand final. Every time it comes to this point, they're not normally good because it's so emotion. There's just have more than 80,000 or 90,000 watching you, and the whole world is watching. And the thing about And that's what Para and South got. They were too emotional of being and and it just didn't work, because for the Panthers, they've already dealt with that emotion for 3 years, where the Broncos haven't. Well, Adam Reynolds has felt it twice. This is his third grand final appearance, where Kurt Capewell, this is his fourth, because his first grand final appearance was with Cronulla. His second grand final appearance was with the Panthers, twice, I should say, with the Panthers. This is his fourth grand final appearance. He's the most experienced grand final player in this Broncos team. Where all of these Panthers, all these 13, well, most of their 13 have played a grand final. Edwards has played a grand final. Tago's played a grand final. Crichton's played a grand final. Toto, Luai, Cleary. Name some of these players that are in this Panthers team have felt it. Mitch Kenny has felt it in 2021. He hasn't played the grand final last year. He didn't play the grand final last year. So So ideally, if the Broncos can get that emotion out of their game and just go, okay, we need to treat this like a normal match, or we can treat this like an Origin match. And this is the thing; it's just like Origin. They've been on the big stage, so it could work for them in this game. But I'm going to go the Panthers 20 points to 19. It might not be a usual scoreline you see in a normal match, but I just have this feeling that Reynolds will have a bit of redemption, try to keep the Broncos in the game and get that grinding. And it may not be one in the forwards, but the Broncos forwards are bigger than this Panthers pack. They got Payne Haas, Tom Flegler, Pat Carrigan, Kobe Hetherington. There's a lot of big forwards in this pack, and in this forward pack, they got some lightning quick back rowers. They got a very experienced halfback. A lot of young players in this Broncos team. Both these teams are young, to be honest. Probably the oldest in this Panthers outfit is Isaiah Yeo. And the oldest in this Broncos outfit is Adam Reynolds and Corey Oates. And obviously Martin Tapau. You had Marty Tapau in the side. So there's a lot to talk about this grand final, but I reckon the Panthers will win in the end and make it a three-peat. I still don't think... It's hard because a lot of people are saying, this Panthers team is the best in the modern era. I don't think they're the best team in the modern era, in my opinion, because if you compare them with the greatest with the Melbourne Storm in 2017, where they had Kenny Bromwich, Jesse Bromwich, Felice Kafusi, Cameron Smith, Billy Slater, Cooper Cronk, Addo Carr, Vunivalu, Chambers, Curtis Scott, Dale Finucane, Joe Stimson, Christian Welsh, Brandon Smith. Well, Brandon Smith, I don't know if he played in the 2017 grand final, but there's a lot. If you look at that Storm team compared to this Panthers team, if you play the Penrith Panthers of 2023 against the Melbourne Storm of 2017, who would win? To me, I'll pick the Melbourne Storm because you got three of the greatest players. You got the greatest player in the modern era, Cameron Smith at hooker. You got two of the best halves of Munster and Cronk, and you got the best fullback of the modern era, Billy Slater. So I'm no Queenslander, but they're the best players in the modern era. And if the Panthers, like Gus said, well, I'm not a fan of Gus, but what he said, this Panthers team and this Broncos team are going to be competing for years to come. I don't know if Gus could be right if they meet in a grand final 5 years in a row, Penrith win most of them, Broncos win most of them. That will make it unfair for the other 15 clubs that want to win this competition and they have to beat the Panthers or the Broncos first. To me, anyway, that's all I guess we're going to talk about. Also, thanks all for watching. This is the last NRL tips and preview for 2023. I hope you enjoy them, and also enjoy the NRL Grand Final for 2023 between the Penrith Panthers and the Brisbane Broncos, the two most consistent teams this year. And also, if you're going to the game, go to Ticket Tech. If you can't get to the game, watch it on Channel 9 or Fox League. This is going to be a great grand final, and just sit and enjoy it because this could go definitely down to the wire. And also, it probably will determine who's going to play the number one for Australia. Because if Edwards has a good game, or Reece Walsh has a good game, this could come down to the two fullbacks of Dylan Edwards and Reece Walsh. So, anyway, hope you enjoy. Let me know who you think is going to win this NRL Grand Final, the 2023 edition of the Grand Final, the Panthers or the Broncos. Your winning margin, your try scorers, your Clive Churchill medal. Hang on, I didn't say my Clive Churchill medal. What am I doing? I think it's going to come down to Nathan Cleary, Dylan Edwards, Adam Reynolds, Payne Haas, or Pat Carrigan. Those are my 5 players. If I would pick, I'll go Dylan Edwards because if Dylan Edwards does the same thing and saves a few tries like he did last year against Parramatta, I think this could really help the Panthers because if Dylan Edwards didn't make that tackle on Bailey Simonson, that would have changed the game massively. Parramatta would have came back towards the end and Penrith would have been shell-shocked in that grand final if Edwards didn't make that tackle when it was 22-0 at that stage. So, anyway, we're not going to talk about that because that would break me heart a bit. That would have broke me heart, and we probably would have been crying. I'll cry, to be honest. If I lose by 2, I'd rather cry than feel disappointed. But I wasn't disappointed last year. Like when we played Penrith, I thought, even though Penrith, when Nathan Cleary's kicking game wasn't at best, he didn't really have a good game with the boot, but it could have been worse if Nathan kicked all of his goals. It would have been really worse for us. And anyway, we're not going to talk about last year. And yeah, like I said, let me know who you tip in the for the NRL Grand Final of 2023. Is it the Panthers or is it the Broncos? And also to keep in mind, this is the first time we've had New South Wales beat Queensland since I think since the Bulldogs and the Broncos grand final in 1998. Is it? Yeah, 1998 grand final. So this, and also I could be wrong there. I could be. Maybe. Yeah. And also, this is the Broncos' first appearance since 2015 in the grand final. And as we know, the Panthers have been there 3 times in a row. This is the 4th time they're here in a row. So, anyway, thanks for watching. Let me know who you tip in the comment section below. And also, leave a like, subscribe, turn on post notifications. We'll see what we can aim for. We're on 30 subscribers. We need to get more than that to, so I can get this, I don't know what the word is, the most popular channel on YouTube, but that's not going to happen. But we could, this is all for watching. Remember, it's not who you are that's underneath. It's what you do that defines you. Cheers.